Hello, welcome back to RetroBreak. You might remember in last week's episode I really struggled with my list of 15 hidden gems for the Wii. Well, there was 10 that didn't quite make that list, so I decided to do a follow-up video this week to show you 10 more hidden gems for the Wii. But before we do, you might have noticed I've got a fresh new look. No, I'm not talking about my hair, I'm talking about this t-shirt right here, which is actually available to purchase below this video, fingers crossed. That was one of the benefits of getting 10,000 subscribers. So at the minute I think there's only t-shirts and jumpers on there, but it would definitely mean a lot to me if you were to check them out. They should be below this video, or if not, have a look on my channel and click on the store tab. That's just one exciting thing that I have to mention. I also got another Patreon supporter, so thank you so much to Pete Campbell for becoming my most recent supporter over there. It really does mean a lot to me. And finally, for the announcements at the start of this video, my channel sponsor Bifrostbridge Studios has just released their first book on Amazon. It's over here on the screen, and if you want to go and check it out, I'll put a link down below. So now let's get on with the video and let's take a look at the 10 games that just missed out on last week's episode. So Ghost Squad on the Wii is an amazing arcade conversion by Sega. The Wii is really good for light gun games, and I was really surprised that in my previous 2 Wii videos I didn't actually mention any light gun games, so I really wanted to talk about this one. It plays really well, it's really fast. I had a lot of fun going back to play this one for the video, and I also have great memories of playing this one with my friend Jack after school when it came out in 2007 in our final year of school. So I have really fond memories of Ghost Squad. And if you like your light gun games and if you like action-packed arcade shooters, you really can't go wrong with this one.
Alex Havoc is dead. However, we have rescued the president and the leaders safely. The operation was a success. Well done.
Next up is a game by Hudson called Marbles Balance Challenge, and this is actually the sequel to another game they made a few years earlier called Kora Rinpa. And the reason I picked the sequel is the fact that it also has a level editor, which I always love in games. Every time a game has a level editor, I always go straight to it and see what you can do, and this game is really fun. It takes full advantage of the Wii Remote's motion capabilities. You basically roll the floor around, kind of like Super Monkey Ball, but better. And the really cool thing about this game, compared to something like Super Monkey Ball, is the fact that you can actually turn the entire stage upside down or on its side, and the levels really take advantage of the full 360-degree movement that the Wii Remote offers. It's a really fun game. There's loads of different marbles for you to play as, and they all have different stats. There's loads of different worlds to travel through, loads of different themes, and as you're going through all the single player content, you're unlocking more and more stuff to go into the level editor, which I really love. So this was a fantastic sequel, and definitely one of Hudson's best games. Now this game here I've never actually heard anyone talk about, and I'm really happy to be able to bring it up in this video because I think it is a fantastic game. This is Overlord Dark Legends by Codemasters of all people. Yes, it's not a racing game. This is actually a really interesting game. It's a third-person action-adventure game which also combines elements of Pikmin. I know that sounds really weird, but it actually works surprisingly well. It has a really fun story, a really fun cast of characters, and a really nice British sense of humour. It kind of reminds me of something like Blackadder. If you're from the UK, you'll know what I'm on about there with Rowan Atkinson, but it really gives me the same kind of vibes in this game. It's very British, it's very dry humour, but I really do enjoy it. And the action of the game is really fun as well. You go around collecting these little minions that you use to attack the enemies, and they all have their little catchphrase as they're running around the stages. It's really fun, and it was definitely a surprise considering I'd never even heard of this game before I picked it up on a whim a few years ago and decided to give it a go. And it's one of those games that you buy not knowing anything about, and you're so glad that you did because it turns out to be a really fun experience. So I definitely recommend Overlord if you've got a Wii and you want something very different and very unique. Really can't go wrong with this one.
Oh, don't mind Jegs. He's been a bit down with all the anti-halfling feeling around here. But he's okay. Been with the Gromgard family for years, haven't you, fella?
Now next up we have a really cool open world racing game called Emergency Heroes, which was made by Ubisoft. For some reason, this one got mixed reviews back in the day, but I really enjoy it. It has a really cheesy story, but the main thing that I love about this game is all of the different missions and all of the different vehicles that you can control throughout the game. You play as a firefighter, you can play as a policeman. All of these different cars have all different missions. It controls really well, and that's the main thing about a racing game. It's really, really fun to play, and it has a big open world, like I said, like you'd expect from a Ubisoft game. So I'm quite surprised that this one didn't get more attention back in the day, because it's a really well-polished game, and it's really fun to play. It's one that I go back to quite often if I just want to have a drive around and have a bit of fun. There was another similar game that came out on the Wii just after as well, called Emergency Heroes. So I'll put a picture up here, let me know if anyone's played it, and let me know if it's as good as this one, or if it's even similar at all. I think that one was made by Codemasters, so I presume it's quite good because they're really good with their racing games. But either way, Emergency Heroes is such a fun game, and if you want something a bit different on the Wii, if you want something that's kind of like Need for Speed but also its own thing as well, really recommend this one.
I'm liking this! You didn't! You did! No! You got me!
Great driving, Zack. You really know how to handle a pursuit.
Now, when I asked for people to send over their recommendations for Hidden Gems, a game that always came up in the comments was Boom Blocks, and I have to agree, it is a fantastic game. Apparently, the gameplay was designed by Steven Spielberg. I don't actually know how much of a role he actually had in making the game, but either way, the game is loads of fun. It's such a simple concept, but they extrapolate on it so well throughout the game that it's just one of those games that you want to play one level after the other because they're so quick to finish, but it's so fun to play that you just don't want to stop. When I picked this game up, I really wasn't expecting much back in the day, but I remember putting it on, maybe expecting to play it for like 10 minutes or something, and I literally played it for about 3 hours in one go. It really is addictive. And there was also a follow-up on the game as well, called Boom Blocks Bash Party, I think, which is over there somewhere, but I'm not going to try and get it down out of the pile. So let me know in the comments down below if you've ever played Boom Blocks. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think of the sequel as well. I haven't actually played the sequel as much as I played the original, so I can't really say what's that different about it, but I definitely recommend both of the games, and I think this would be perfect on the Switch as well. So maybe if EA still owns the right, maybe we'll be able to see it on the Switch one day, which would be fantastic to get more people to be able to play this hidden gem of a game, Boom Blocks. Another game that kept coming up in the comments from you guys, this one is Zack Wiki, Quest for Barbarossa's Treasure, and what an incredible game this is. It's the point and click adventure which at the time were kind of falling a little bit out of fashion, but this feels really, really fresh. It still does today actually. It's got such a nice story to it, and the way the game congratulates you every single time you finish a puzzle is really, really rewarding, and there's loads of puzzles to solve in this game. And I also love the fact that it uses the Wii remote in loads of really unique ways as well. So there's loads to love about this game, and I know a lot of you really enjoy it as well. So let me know down below if you've played Zack Wiki. Let me know what you think of it. I absolutely loved it when I played it in college. I actually borrowed a friend's copy, and I actually only picked this one up the other day in order to do this video because I really wanted to talk about it. 4 games left now, 4 really unique and interesting games. First of all, we have Mushroom Men, The Spore Wars, another game that I don't hear enough people talking about. This one is a really cool 3D platformer, which really makes me think of some of the best 3D platformers on the N64, which is definitely a good thing, because by the time the Wii came out, the 3D platforming genre kind of fell out of fashion a little bit. Just like Zack Wiki with the point and click genre, I really don't think the 3D platformer got enough love, and thanks to South Peak Games, they made an absolutely fantastic 3D platformer for the Wii. It's got such a good atmosphere, and I love the controls and all of the different gameplay mechanics. In this game, you're basically playing as a Mushroom Man, like the title suggests, and you're going around all of these miniature levels, solving loads of different puzzles, exploring junkyards and cave systems, and all of these kind of things where all these mushrooms live. And along the way you're finding pieces of a meteorite as well, which are all scattered about throughout the levels, and that's what really makes me think back to some of the best platformers on the N64. It's kind of a collectathon, but also it's a lot more streamlined compared to some of those older games. So if you enjoy 3D platformers and you want something very different, highly recommend getting Mushroom Men, The Spore Wars.
The entire tribe save that sporling, was decimated. The mushroom wandered in this unfamiliar world. Too young to remember his home, he knew nothing of his own tribe. Pax was lost. Until now.
And I just saw this on the stack, so when Mushroom Men was first announced, I actually loved the concept of it so much that I actually tried to make my own version when I was in college. So this here is my own printed box from 2008 or 7 or 8, something like that. And I called it Help, I've Been Shrunk. I'll do some close-ups with this, but I'm sure you'll find it really, really funny at least. So it says Shrink to Save the World. I even put a few little fake reviews on the back there. So it says 10 out of 10 Games TM, 98% Endgamer, 10 out of 10 GameSpot. Made by N-Blast Games, that's what I wanted to call my company back in the day. And basically you was playing as a little guy running around in the same sort of environments as Mushroom Men, and you'd be killing like giant ants and stuff. And it was just a really fun thing to make. I've actually got... I thought they were down there, but they're not. I've actually got loads of different level plans and things that I've got in a folder somewhere, so maybe in a future video I can talk a bit more about, where is it, Help, I've Been Shrunk, and some of my other random game projects from back in the day, because I think you guys would get a kick out of it. I would love to show it off at some point as well. Now, 3 more games, and back in the day I was a huge fan of the DS games, Spectrobes, so when it came out on the Wii a few years later I had to get it. Unfortunately though, I never actually played it at the time, but I was looking through my stack of Wii games after doing the last 2 videos, and it made me think just how much I loved the DS Spectrobes games. So I popped this one in the other day to give it a quick go, and I was absolutely blown away by the game. I don't know what I was expecting. For some reason I didn't think it would be as good as the DS games, but I can wholeheartedly say that if I played this back in the day when I played the DS ones, this probably would have been my favourite out of the entire series. I love the graphics, I love all of the different creatures that you can find. Basically, Spectrobes is you going around different planets and things and finding fossils which you can then tap away out and extract the fossil and then put it into a machine and you get a creature out of it, and then you can kind of train it up like Dragon Quest Monsters style. And it's such a fun kind of Pokemon style adventure game, although I have to say this is actually better than some of the recent Pokemon games. So I really recommend Spectrobes for the Wii if you like your creature collecting kind of games, if you're a big fan of Pokemon or Digimon and want to play something a little bit different. Definitely recommend it. I was really, really pleased, and actually I think I'm going to go back and play this one some more after I've done the video. I enjoyed it that much. And just like Ivy the Kiwi from the last episode, this one was made by Yuji Naka's company after he left Sega, called Prope, and this is such a unique and interesting game. As you can see, it came in a big box, and within that big box was a big box. And within this big box, yep, you guessed it, another big box. I actually asked my mum to get this for me because I knew it was back at her house. And when she went to get it, she brought it down and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry to say there's nothing in there, there's just a box." And I'm like, "Oh great, the box is in there." She was so confused. But yep, that's all this game needs is 2 boxes. Of course, the game's here, but I already had the game, but I didn't have the boxes, but I wanted to play it properly because basically what this game is, it's such a unique concept. You put the Wii remote face down on the box and you literally just tap the box to do things in the game. There's 5 different modes, I believe, and you can also play them all in multiplayer as well. It's such a fun game in multiplayer if you have any friends. And even in single player it's really fun. I remember back in college when it came out, I would play it all the time and try and get high scores on all of the different game modes. There's a mode where you have to tap the box really fast and then you tap it hard to jump in the air. There's another mode where you have to pull blocks out of a tower, kind of like Jenga. There's a rhythm mode that I really liked, and there's a few other really fun games on there as well. So as you can see, it's such a unique concept. And even though it's not really the best game ever, it definitely has to go on a Hidden Gems list just because of how unique it really is. And the final game, an absolute classic by Way Forward, which once again I don't hear enough people talking about. This is a Boy And His Blob. I actually got all of my NES games out of storage the other day, so I can show this off here. Here's the original on the NES, and this is the remake on the Wii. I say remake, but they're actually very different games. The NES one was more of an open-ended adventure game, whereas the one on the Wii is kind of split down into smaller different levels, which all have different puzzles, and it gives you a different set of jelly beans at the start of each stage. and the idea is that you feed the blob with the different types of jelly beans and he transforms into different things. It's such a unique concept, and the Wii game, as you can see, looks absolutely outstanding. They did an incredible job with the graphics and the atmosphere in this game, but the main reason it holds up so well is the really inventive puzzles and the really unique way that the game plays. And it's such a shame that this hasn't actually been re-released on other systems. It definitely is one of the best games on the Wii. And there we go, that was 10 extra Wii Hidden Gems. Let me know what you thought down in the comments of these picks, and let me know if there's any others that you think I should have included as well. I really hope you enjoyed it. I think that's going to do it for a while for Wii episodes. Coming up next, I know I've got a tour of Vintage Gamer, my favourite game shop, so I really hope you're looking forward to that, as well as just out of shot over there, a load of really cool pickups from there as well. And something else really cool, if you can see that, I'll do a close-up. Bifrost Bridge Studios, my channel sponsor, very kindly sent me over this Mr. FPGA as well, so I'm going to be doing a review of that very soon as well, so there's loads to look forward to, as well as Game Boy Homebrew games as well, if you came here for that. So please subscribe, I've got absolutely loads of content, way more than I could possibly do, I think, so I really hope you're all going to stick around. That's it for now though, so thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to all of the Patreons going across the screen right now, really appreciate your support. That's it for this episode, I'll see you all next week for the next one. Goodbye!